Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Wirecast Live. We are going to be talking about engaging live sports audiences. Sports is one of the most popular live streaming activities because it's so in the moment and there's so much of it. We play a lot of sports as humans. So one thing you want to know as a live broadcaster, a live streamer, particularly if you stream sports, is how to engage your live audiences. We're going to be talking today with an expert in the area on how to better engage your live audiences at sports events. In fact, he makes a solution in an app all based around how to do just that. So we'll be getting into it today on our episode of Wirecast Live. I'm glad you're here. We're back after a break. I'll be right back with our main... Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Wirecast Live. I'm your host, Andrew Haley, and each week on Thursdays at this time, 2:30 p.m. Pacific time, we are live here on Facebook and YouTube, and we are talking about video broadcasting. We bring on experts in their field, people who know things that we don't know or can't teach you ourselves, whether it's in business or in podcasting, or whether it's in how to market better or stream to social media or build your audience. Sometimes we talk about sports, sometimes we talk about house of worship, we talk about a little bit around everything because there's so many different things you can do with live video and live streaming. Today we're going to be talking about sports and engaging your live audience with a fellow from Fantag who I'll introduce in just a moment. If you want to catch our episodes, we have a whole backlog of episodes. You can go find them online on our Facebook channel. We also have an email subscription list you can sign up for, and we'll notify you when we go live and what the upcoming guests and topics are. In fact, next week we don't quite have somebody booked yet, so we're going to be announcing that topic and what we're going to be covering on next week's show by email first. So that's actually a great way to get notified when we have that show card and that information for you. We'll send it out to you. I promise we don't spam you. We just send you information about the show. You can also, of course, find us on social media where we tend to broadcast this show. We're at Telestream Wirecast on Facebook, at Wirecast on Twitter, and Wirecast Tube on YouTube. So any of those places you can sign up to get notified, live notifications on Facebook, or subscribe to the YouTube channel and subscribe to live channel notifications, and you'll get your notification from Google or Facebook that we're live. Okay, so no announcements this week. We're actually back from a brief break. I took a couple weeks off, and we are back in the saddle here, as they say, and we're going to kick off with a bang into the fall sports season. I'm really excited to be talking about sports because this is when things really start get going. My son's actually going to be getting into fall basketball soon. We've got football season kicking off, literally, for some of you, and your first live sports broadcast. In fact, our friends down the hill at Whitney High School in Rockland are getting ready for their big football live broadcast, the first of the year, coming up on August 31st. So go Wildcats. And of course, our own local high schools will also be doing that. So this is a good time to be talking about live sports. And who better to talk with us than Bryan Dombrowski from Fantag. Now, Fantag, he's the founder and chief product officer at Fantag. And Fantag is a little known app, but I'm hoping it's going to be a lot more well known as they get bigger and bigger, because what they do is really cool. And we're going to talk about how they help sports content owners, sports broadcasters, and venues to take control over their content a little better and engage their audiences. We'll get into it and how that little app works and what it can do and just how cool it is, and ways that you can think about better engaging with your live audiences. So joining me live now is Mr. Bryan Dombrowski. Bryan, are you on the horn?
I am. Andrew, thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for coming on. I'm really excited to have you on the show today and talk a little bit about this topic because sports broadcasting is something that a lot of Wirecast users and a lot of live video producers want to know more about, and they're always looking for tools. In fact, I'd say that the sports broadcasters are the ones that are typically pushing the envelope when it comes to technology, graphics, on-screen displays, and scoreboards, clocks. There's a lot that goes into a good sports production, and one of them, of course, is replays and and access to sports moments. And that's kind of what Fantag does. Can you give us a little bit of a rundown of kind of who you guys are, how you started, and what you guys do?
Yeah, so we are an app that allows fans who are live at the game to collect, relive, and share the best moments as they happen from all the angles that are capturing the action. So we like to kind of think of us for fans who are live at the game as being a jumbotron in your pocket. So you're watching the action, you see a great play, you just hit a button in our app, and you get an instant replay from all of those angles. It's a great way for content creators who are already doing, like you said, Andrew, all of the work to make this great production that is really designed to just reach an end audience who's, maybe at home watching the game, they're not at the venue. This is a way to take that content and reach all of the fans who are actually there at the game, who wouldn't otherwise be watching your video.
That is really cool. So I want to talk about that a little bit more. I love the idea that it's a jumbotron in your pocket because, the juxtaposition between jumbotron and your phone and all that's, perfect. And having access to your own personalized jumbotron sounds really cool. And I think that I would want that at any sports event I went to. So hold on to that thought for just a second. I just want to say a shout out to some of the people who are joining us. If you have questions for Bryan, you want to learn a little bit more, please type them into the chat and share this out. If you know somebody who wants to watch, who is a big sports broadcaster, wants to learn how to what kind of tools and apps like Fantag they can use in their venues, this would be a good discussion or live stream for them to tune in on and maybe ask some questions. So I see Classificado TV on YouTube says, hey, you guys are the best. We have Bill joining us, just wants to say hi, and he's got some great feedback. His first outdoor soccer game, he just streamed it to YouTube, Facebook and YouTube. That's awesome. So you're going to want to pay some attention to this, Bill, on how you can maybe apply Fantag and what it does, because it's actually really easy to use, right, Bryan?
Yeah, that's correct. So the beauty of Fantag is if you are already live streaming your game, you are seconds away from adding Fantag to your experience and offering. So the key to know here is we're not actually a live streaming platform, so we're not trying to compromise what you're already doing. We're trying to complement it. So if you are streaming to, let's say, Facebook Live or YouTube, and you also wanted to stream to Fantag, we're just the mechanism to help you deliver highlights to all of those fans who might be at the venue. We also have a way where fans who are not at the venue can check into the Fantag app, see your event, and you can designate a special user, if it's not yourself, maybe someone on your staff, to tag plays as they see them and let fans check into the app and see the highlights that you've been tagging.
Oh, that's cool. So it's almost like, as you said, so if any fan has the Fantag app, they will get a list of all the tagged plays or replays just kind of appear in the app. So if they're not at the game, they can at least see the highlights. If they're at the game, they can help, contribute to those potentially. And then if you're the content creator, then now suddenly people don't have to rewind the Facebook feed to go see something. They're actually just able to see it all curated for them.
Yeah, that's correct. It's a way to get to the moments that you might actually, that you want to see from this great content that's already being produced. Traditionally, if the moment passes, let's say you're at the game and you turn around or you get up to get a snack, that moment's gone. Or if you see a play that really matters to you and it's not on the big screen or the Jumbotron, that moment's gone. We want to remove that experience from ever happening for fans. So you're at the venue, you see a great play, you have a method to get access to that and give more value back to the content creator for doing so.
That's pretty cool. Okay, so let's take a step back. How did this all come about? How did you sort of come up with Fantag? How did this what made you want to do this? Were you at a game and you just missed this play and you just were so sad you couldn't figure out a way to see it on your phone?
So I've been in sports and video production for a number of years now, working at the professional level all the way down to, youth and club and high school. When I started this, I was going out and filming games and providing, a great service for my audience. But what I was finding was everyone at the venue wanted moments from my content. And they wanted them for different reasons. School administrators wanted them to put on social. Parents wanted them to make recruiting videos or just have the memories. And fans wanted them just to relive really cool plays. And that I realized there was no vehicle. There's no real easy method for me to do that. So I thought, well, what if there was a way for people to identify moments in my video without coordinating with me or being connected to my camera? And that was really the birth of Fantag. And to have come a long way and now have this great experience that's utilized at clubs, high schools, and even professional teams across the country.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So I totally see that I love the idea that they don't have to coordinate with you to get the pieces of content that they want from the stream. They don't have to ask you to clip it out yourself. They don't have to do any of that. They can do that within an app as long as you make the stream available to them through this sort of centralized app experience. It might help if our viewers actually saw it in action. Now, I understand we have a video of you doing this. Can we play the video and maybe you can talk us through it?
Absolutely, yeah. There's nothing like seeing it in action and experiencing it for yourself. This is kind of the second best thing where you get some sense of what the user experience is. So yeah, that would be great, Andrew. Okay,
so Deverly, let's knock the audio down on this so we can talk over it. Okay,
so we're at
go ahead.
This is being live streamed and we're in the app and a play happens on the field. Now a user in the app will just hit this button and what they're going to get is a 15-second replay of what they just saw. So it's actually going to jump backwards in time from when you hit the button. From there, a user can put it into full screen mode and watch the play, or they can download, share that highlight on social media, or edit and trim the in-out points. All of these parameters and things you can do are controlled by the content creator. So we're at games sometimes where it's a professional broadcast for ESPN, and they don't want to let people outside the venue access or share the content. The content creator always has the control, but in cases like at this football game, the content creator is trying to get their video out to a broader audience and get the best plays so they can start generating buzz about the offering that they have, generating buzz about the live stream, and just getting people to get more eyeballs on your content. So this is a great way to help those users, empower them to get your content out to a broader audience.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm sure that there's different venues are going to be using it in a lot of different ways. I like the way the video showed it live in the moment at the venue, and you're just kind of like first-person point of view looking at the screen and then sharing out a play. You said that they could download the clip for themselves. Obviously, if I have my own phone at a game, I take my own footage, that saves to my photo library or to my video roll or whatever. On my phone. If I'm filming a clip through the Fantag app, is that still the case, or am I? How does that work? Is there a camera feature in the app that I can turn on and off if I'm a fan?
Yeah, that's right. So this is a really cool component of our product where you can basically mobilize more videographers for your stream or for this Fantag experience in a really lightweight, easy way. So if I'm doing a live stream and I have a couple cameras and I want to send someone down field level to just capture action, you can use the Fantag app, select the camera button, and now have this amazing new angle that you probably wouldn't have been able to incorporate and that fans are enjoying, and it's all part of your custom Fantag experience that you as the content creator set up.
That makes a lot of sense. And so you're trying to give control primarily to the content owner and the content creator. I totally get that if you're a fan, you would want access to these replays and these clips just to be able to help you get the moments. But if there's, say, maybe other fans have uploaded other moments from the game, and they're all kind of available to me as another fan on the app. Am I able to download their moments, or is that, as a content creator, can I turn on or off access to those other angles?
Yeah, so it's a big, a big part of our technology and experiences. The content creator has the control. So we want to make it really seamless for users to enable or disable those kinds of features at venues. So certain content creators get tons of value by letting users download the content, whereas at other events, you might want to limit who can share it. We want to make sure that those content creators have control of what's happening with their content.
How's it going so far? Like, so you said you're in clubs right now. You worked with some ESPN stuff. Like, what are some success stories that you're really proud of?
Yeah, so we work with a number of high schools. On the live streaming side, it's always been a passion of mine to, I remember being in high school and not having those outlets to work with video and gain more experience. So what we're seeing now is high schools who are adopting Fantag, who maybe wouldn't have been able to film a number of games that are happening on campus throughout the year, but because they now have the app and the ability to get the moments that matter faster that they want to actually work with, it's a way for students to have those outlets to say, I want to work with video, I want to learn, I want to bring value to our school community. So right now, it's the high school engagement has been a thrill to see, and I think there's some more exciting stuff down the road.
Cool. And you're kind of testing the platform out. How old of an organization is Fantag? How old's the company?
So really started about 4 years ago, building out the technology for how this whole syncing with video and asynchronous video will work. But the last about year and a half is when the company started to really take shape and ramp up, and we stopped and focused on this whole experience of allowing people to get their moments. We're trying to build a company where no moment is ever lost. So there's video being generated all the time, and right now there's a lot of audiences who might care about a moment you capture but have no means of getting to that. We want to facilitate that experience, and we think create a lot of value for the people who make the video and the people who view the video. We want to make that experience better in the process.
Yeah, I think that's a great point that you've brought up, that there is a lot of video happening all the time, but it's the access, it's the aggregation, it's the coordination and the synchronization where currently tools are missing. 100 different fans might upload 100 different clips to YouTube or to Facebook, but none of it's ever coordinated and easily accessible. So you wouldn't know what you're missing from a different angle or different perspective, or from someone else who's at the same game. So I think it's pretty cool. It makes a lot of sense to coordinate everyone's sort of effort through a single event, and Fantag can take care of all the scheduling and the synchronization piece and the aggregation part of it, so that it's a much easier experience to get access to those moments. So this kind of leads me to the question of sort of the topic, which is engaging live audiences at sports events. What are some principles that guide you to create better engagement? First of all, why as a content creator or venue owner or a sports team owner or broadcast rights owner would I want to create more fan engagement? And then how do you guys go about enabling that at Fantag? What are your design principles?
Yeah, that's great. So really it's all around this point that I brought up earlier, is that you're already doing all the work to make this incredible, video and production. And right now it's limited for the fans who are at home who are watching, but there's a whole world of people who would love to get to the core value of what you're creating. So that really starts where sports is more moments driven than ever before. So don't miss the opportunity to get those moments out. Because once the stream ends, once the game ends, that's sometimes where the value ends. And the principle that we live by is, no, let's see this content have value for, immediately and well beyond the event. So really just about getting moments from your content. The second one is a little more fun for me, and something I've gotten to experience through Fantag myself, is try to capture less traditional angles. So oftentimes thinking about, this is the angle, the crow's nest, where this is how we capture the game, and that it's a great dependable angle that fans love to see and engage with. But I found that incorporating Fantag, filming on the sidelines, or filming an angle that I wouldn't normally think to capture, really adds a whole nother layer of value and excitement for fans to see a play that they don't have that perspective. They're not right by the crow's nest watching the game. So I think that's adding other angles is a great way to engage more fans. And then the last is empowering your fans to be a vehicle for your content. For most content creators we work with, they measure their value as, how many eyeballs are on this? How many people how many impressions are we making? How many people are seeing this? Like, part of our tool is we have ways where content creators can brand their content. So run pre-roll ads in a really simple way on these highlights, to put watermarks if you're not already doing that in your software. So with all of that, how do you get more people to engage in what you're creating? And right now they're either watching the live stream or they're not. And we want to change that and empower your audience to, get a highlight, love this angle, share it with their community, and then track those analytics so that we can send those back to the content creator and say, look at how broad your reach was with the content, and not have to do any extra work. You just are tapping into what you're already doing with your live broadcast.
That's pretty cool. So we have a couple of viewers, like Rob Munzing from Maine. He's a sports broadcaster, uses Wirecast out there, does some great work. He's definitely interested. He asked about a free trial. Can you talk a little bit about how somebody like Rob can get access to this? And is it expensive? Is it, how does it work?
Yeah, absolutely. So the best way to start, we offer a 30-day free trial. You can do this at any of your events. We have all the support and tutorial instructions that you'll need, but we also, we love our content creator community, and that's what we're trying to really build and facilitate. So we'd love to hear from you and connect with you. If you go to fantag.live, you can sign up for our product. It's called Fantag Manager, and we offer a 30-day free trial. We have 3 packages that are great for either a single entity or team. That's $20 a month to use the product, or all the way up to our gold package, which is really good for schools or larger organizations who maybe have a number of different teams that they're trying to support. So it's really whatever fits your needs best. But yeah, that's the best way to start. And just reiterating, love to engage with the community of content creators.
Yeah. Do you recommend that, so for example, if I think Rob is often working with schools. He's sort of like you were, maybe a freelancer, an independent video producer that comes in and contracts with a school or a team or a college or a sports organization to come in and film their games and make the footage available to them. If in your former life as that, or Rob in his current position, should they be telling the venues and the schools to be getting the Fantag account, or should he or would you have done that, or would you have bought your own account and then just used it as and kind of gifted it or used it as you went from service these different organizations?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we've definitely tried to create the offerings, the packages, to be really flexible, so different types of service providers can get what they actually want. So for me, I was working for maybe a number of different teams, different events, and I was more maybe a one-off, doing this for one school and this for a club team. But in that sense, I might buy my own package to my own tier and call it what my service is. But if you're working for a school, the best way to do this is really buy one of the higher tiers, where every single team can have their own access, their own control. And then there's a myriad of post-production value adds for organizations. So for instance, in the Fantag Manager package, you can be tagging all the plays, you can see what everyone else is tagging, and then at halftime, in seconds, you can generate a highlight reel, set to music, halftime highlights, and post that on social media. That's normally a process that takes either a special, someone on your team to do, and it usually takes a lot of time. This is a way to have a lightweight workflow that you can push out to your audience. So in that sense, so whatever tier you get really depends on who you're working with. I think if you're working for a school, there's a lot of value to buying more of the school oriented package that services a number of different teams within the organization.
That's cool. Okay. Yeah. And I actually have it up on my screen, Beverly. So if you want to we can just show the website here, and looks like it's fantag.live. And you can head over here, and there's a ton of cool stuff from how it works. You can see kind of that it really starts with the content, whether you're streaming it out, and then how you manage it, and then who's watching and sharing it through the Fantag app. Have you found other applications for this outside of sports?
Yeah, that really helped position the product and what we're building. My personal interest is I believe we're solving a very general video problem, so not just sports related. And as I mentioned in how I got my start, I wasn't just doing sports video. I did a lot of personal, video editing and content creation. And so I think that it's really in anything that is capturing video and is more capturing long form, where there's moments that you might want, and we think of them as just in case moments. You're not filming something because this exact thing is going to happen at this moment. Sometimes it's spontaneous, and you realize, wow, this would be a great thing for us to be able to access, to be able to share, be able to be able to log and relive later. I think it's got really broad application. And there's no restrictions on using it for whatever application you think would be best. And we certainly want to hear what people are interested in using Fantag for.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point, that it goes to basically any live event that's being documented or filmed, and that may interest multiple people, right? And so it's any group-based live event that you may want to grab, whether you're at a concert, or at a live speech, or a rally, or some sort of outdoor event. I mean, there's so many different ways that if at least that it involves more than one person with their phone, or maybe people that can't be there that want to be there. Then making access to these moments, these cool highlights or clips, whether it's from a great speech or just a great guitar solo or something like that, I think other people may want to participate in that. How do you? It seems like the number one issue, though, would be the call to action to get everybody on Fantag, so they're all contributing, sharing, and participating in the event through Fantag. Is that challenging? And is it challenging if people aren't already trained that this is going to be a way? I can imagine when everybody knows that this exists and this is just how you go, like, oh, hey, I was going to go down to that concert in the park, and I better pull out bring Fantag along with me, or pull out Fantag because I just want to see who's uploading stuff and who's sharing, and maybe I want to grab a camera angle and share it out if something cool happens. Until people are kind of generally aware, how do you recommend venue owners sort of create that community around the event using this app?
So we have really a packet of media assets, all the tools that make it easy for you to promote this to your audience. So, at high schools, most high schools know their community and who would be interested in a product like Fantag at a game. And it's about, having the email copy and having the videos that inform the users what this is and how it works. We provide all of that, our logos. So if you want to put this in, if you want to put a logo in an email or a newsletter, all of those tools so that you can easily and quickly promote Fantag to your community.
Yeah,
those are all. Right.
Yeah, I think that's a great way. It's about education. You got to let people know. Maybe on the live stream, pop up a QR code or something. Let people know that they can, if they point their phone at it, it'll download the Fantag app and they can start seeing highlights and things like that and start participating. So I think it's incumbent on the content producers, and the event producers maybe to help bring people in that way and engage them more. Have you had some anecdotal evidence or even maybe some hard data so far on the engagement and what it does for different metrics of success that might be important to a venue or a content owner? What types of things are they seeing when this is all working?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, you can look at a lot of different metrics, but one of the main ones is just views. Who's viewing the content? What we've seen is talking to some live broadcasters and saying, "Hey, I have 3,000 views on my live stream at any given point in the game that I'm broadcasting, and maybe those are sponsored. So it's great to drive that sponsor message with." Adding something like Fantag, you can match those views, those brand impressions. We're seeing, really depends on the game, the level, but trying to match those eyeballs that you would have on the live stream, even if it's only for, maybe a quarter or not necessarily the whole game, trying to match or beat that view count by getting more and more people to share more and more highlights. So that's the beauty is we see, a highlight go to Twitter from maybe a live football game, and that get 1,000 views within an hour, and it's really those are people who then want to retweet that, who really care about that content. So for us, it's really about getting the unique impressions and getting the view count of your content up, and that's what we try to facilitate for content creators.
Cool. So I have a couple questions from the audience as well, so I want to make sure we cover those. One was a specific question. They want to know, Rob wants to know if he can download that easy to make highlight reel that you mentioned that could be done on the Fantag platform. Can he download that as an MP4 or whatever and pop that right back into Wirecast and play it out for the program audience?
That's great, absolutely. So only the content creator or admins of your team can download, so it's not a general fan option. But yes, that's what we're seeing is at halftime, you whip together a highlight reel, you download it, and you throw it into your broadcast feed for just before the second half starts. So that is a feature that we have available.
Very cool. And then if a couple other people are wondering, so one question, this is sort of somewhat unrelated, but from Faisal, I didn't want to ignore your question. They said they're looking for an easy solution for annotating on-screen live plays, drawing, highlights, X's and O's, and that kind of stuff. You can speak to this, Bryan, if Fantag in any way enables annotations, but I can tell you that we actually did an episode a little while ago on the show talking about NDI annotating and screen annotations. So you might want to check that out from a couple episodes ago if you want to see more about a tool that could do that for you. But Bryan, have you guys considered adding, I know Facebook and Instagram allow you to add little emojis and hearts and kind of modify video. Have you considered features like that inside the Fantag app, sort of customized fan video or, custom content?
Yeah, so all of those features are really exciting. So we look at it as, the live broadcasters who want to do that live in their production. I know there's great tools like a Wirecast to be able to do create those kinds of experiences, which is great. For us, we're looking to incorporate features like that more for the post-event experience or secondary content. So like making a highlight reel if you wanted to, do those kinds of features. So those are things that we're looking at closely to incorporate in our product very soon.
Cool. Okay. Well, this is a great question from Bill, and I can't believe it didn't occur to me before now, but he says, and this kind of actually could be a good segue into my next question for you, and then we'll kind of wrap this up. So, sports competitions typically have two teams, right? The home and the away. So what happens, when both of them are Fantag users, or if the away team wants to bring Fantag creators? Have you guys, how does that get worked out if the same game's being sort of split?
No, that's a great question. And, one side of me is like, yes, that's a great problem. And the other side of it is talking around, what we have seen is teams actually coordinating here where they say, look, we want to offer the Fantag experience for our game. Can we offer it here? And then when we go to your venue, you offer it. That's another example we've seen. We have seen people who have created two events. They call the events different things. They label them differently. And so most of the parents, if I'm on one team, I'm a parent or fan. I want to see what our broadcast is doing, not the other teams. And I want to promote our broadcast, not the other teams. But we're getting a lot more intelligent with detecting, wow, there's two amazing broadcasts going on at once. Let's combine that and create this really compelling experience for the users without extra work on the content creator.
Yeah, it's a tricky problem to solve, so I'll be watching that. And that actually kind of leads into my question, which is rights management. Obviously, this is going to be an ongoing sticky issue, right? So, can you talk a little bit maybe in general about how you guys approach that? I know that every venue, every team, every game or piece of content is going to have sort of a different combination or set of rules around sharing who owns what rights and so forth. I know that if you go to certain venues and pull out your phone and maybe they let you film and you kind of film your own stuff, but technically maybe you weren't supposed to, or they're just, you don't technically own the rights to that content, or sometimes you do as the original filmer of it, even though you're not on your own home turf. So could you talk a little bit about that and kind of some general guiding principles around that you guys, the way you think about it and the way Fantag users should approach it?
Yeah, so I think first and foremost, you said it's kind of a sticky issue. It's growing and it's adapting with this new age where video is much more ubiquitous and people want it and it's valuable. I think for Fantag, the way we position our product is, I had mentioned this earlier, but I'll stress it. It's let the content creator have the control. So we have things like this is venue, content creator saying this is venue only and there's no sharing. If you're not at the venue, you don't have access to this content. We also have ways to tell people you don't get to Fantag, you actually just get highlights that we determine are the plays we want you to watch. That's actually something we've seen at professional games where there's
that's not a replay. This is a replay.
Yeah, exactly. So we get to tell. We as the content creators get to tell you. And so for us, it's just making sure that we always give the content creator that control. What do they find? How do they want to find value with Fantag? And it might be everything. It might be one component, but we're versatile enough and flexible to provide that value on an event-to-event basis. So that's a huge principle that we stress is not trying to force anything on content creators who maybe have to worry about broadcast rights more rigidly than other people. So we want to provide that experience for them.
Can you speak to the VOD experience as a fan? So if I had attended a number of my favorite high school teams' games over the course of the year in their Fantag account, and my son or daughter plays on the team, and I just want to curate all my favorite, replays. You said I couldn't download them in the app. I couldn't download my favorite angles or whatever, but I could at least, could you talk a little bit about that? Is there some sort of personalized replay channel for me as a user?
Yeah. So Absolutely. So if you're I'll use the example of club teams who use our product. So you want to film all season using Fantag Manager. You can invite people as members of your team, giving them enough permission where they can access all of your content for that team. It's just available to them. Give them post-production tools to be able to maybe, I missed a moment. I wasn't at the game. I wasn't able to watch the live stream, and I want to be able to grab that moment. Or I just want to go back and relive all the action. So again, keeping it really providing a path for content creators to invite and give people permission to access one or some larger group of games. And then in terms of the VOD content, maybe this was lost in some of the detail, but users do have the ability to download highlights if they'd like at the content creator's discretion. If you're a member of a team in Fantag Manager, you have 10 teams, you can see all your highlights from the whole season. You can download all your highlights. You can make your own highlight video for recruiting or for just to have a memory or end of season banquet video. So there's a lot you can do there, and that is really this centralized access point where, I might have 3 kids who play on 3 different teams, and I have one account where I get to see all their games, all their highlights, and can create all sorts of content that I'd like.
Yeah. So, and just I want to make sure I understand this. So the teams themselves, like let's say the Fantag account owner or the Fantag account content creator creates let's say it's the school, right? And then there's varsity, JV, and freshmen or whatever, and they create 3 different teams in their Fantag account, one for each of them. And then as a parent or a fan, I could, they could invite me as a team member. Is that how it works?
Yeah, that's exactly how it works. So I could be a Fantag user, just someone who's fans of all 3 of those games, and I could have the whole Fantag experience. But once I want the secondary experience, I'd want to be added to a team, and then I get to see all the past games, past highlights, highlight reels, all of that stuff. So it's as though I'm a member of the team, and that's a great tool for the community of parents and athletes and coaches and athletic directors who want that, who see value in getting access to that secondary content.
And is there a limit by tier as to how many parents you can invite to become members of each team?
Nope, you can have unlimited number of users accessing the content and playback and everything.
Okay, cool. So that's pretty sweet, I have to say. So Bryan, this sounds like an incredible tool. I can't wait to start using it at the NU football games and some of the other teams that I follow. I hope this goes to every venue and sports event I go to, because I really do love that idea of having access to plays. I remember I'm a Warriors fan. We're NorCal, so we're big, obviously. Kings fan as well, but I remember this one play where Kevin Durant, his shoe came off during a play, and he played the whole play. This probably happened a couple times to him. Actually, it happens fairly regularly. His shoe comes off. He plays the rest of the play with his shoe off, and gets a block and a steal, and he's doing it all without his shoe off. And I'm like, that is the play of the week. That's an amazing play. He's doing it all with one shoe on, and it wasn't anywhere. It wasn't on ESPN. Nobody did it in any replays. I was just like, that right there is why you got to have access to your own highlights reel, because my highlights are definitely different from, say, ESPN's or somebody else's.
Yeah, we're all different fans. We all want different things in video. So yeah, I'm looking at it wow, what a great play! The fast break, and then it's gone because somebody's telling me what the moments I should care about are. Right. I want to be able to tell them this matters to me.
Yeah, I think that's so cool that you're solving this issue. And thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you again soon, and good luck. And if you guys want to find out more about Bryan and Fantag and what's going on, we actually have contact information. So you can find them here at fantag.live. Where else is a good way to reach out to you, Bryan?
Anywhere on any of our social media platforms or email. And we'd love to hear from anyone who's interested and get our product in your hands and learn from you and hear what matters to you.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Bryan. We will talk with you again soon, and good luck with Fantag.
Cool. Andrew, thank you so much, and thanks everyone for tuning in.
All right. Have a good one. We'll see you later.
Bye.
All right, so that was Bryan Dombrowski from Fantag.live. You can check out Fantag.live and start using it at your own facilities. As we mentioned, it doesn't necessarily have to be sports. It's any live event that, more than one person might be interested in seeing, reliving, with moments that maybe you don't know what's going to happen or what to expect, and you want to capture it from different angles. I think that's a really cool way. I think he mentioned that getting different perspectives really engages your audience, reliving moments, capturing moments that just aren't gone and you can't get access to is a really big deal for audience engagement. And then, of course, allowing them to share that. And I think he even said that, attendees, allows venue content creators and venue owners to sort of let your fans, use your content, or use your, help your fans help share your content, because that's really where it's good. You're gonna get that network effect and that joy of sharing this stuff that we go through. So when we attend these live events, so I really want to say thanks to him for coming on. I want to say thanks to you guys for tuning in. We will be back next week, same time, 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. You can find out what we're going to be talking about actually on the email list. We don't actually have our topic or guest yet picked out, but we will announce that as soon as it's ready. And I want to say thanks to our partners for making the show possible. We use a lot of their equipment, and these manufacturers and vendors are critical to this live show. And of course, you guys, our viewers, write in with any questions. We will be back. You can also check out the Wirecast users group on Facebook. That's a great place to get help, and we check in on there, both developers and marketing and sales. We all kind of keep an eye and try to contribute once in a while to the discussions. So thanks again to all of you. We will see you again next week. This has been another episode of Wirecast Live, and I want to thank you for viewing. Keep streaming.